Welcome back inside Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. This is Beyond the Bell. I'm Chris Mannix, joined by Sergio Mora, and one very proud father/trainer, Vergil Ortiz Sr. Just watched his son pick up his 19th win by knockout. First word, big picture, what did you think of Vergil's performance?
I think he did pretty good for being off for almost a whole year. I thought maybe he could have been a little bit more patient. He seemed to wanted to get McKinson out of there too early, but that just came from him. You know, the guy was already he's fighting backwards. You know, he really don't want to fight. He just wants to be on his bike, not in a bad way, but you know, he want to be around in the ring, and I don't blame him. Trust me, I don't blame him. I've been hit by Vergil doing mid, so I know. But you know, fighting someone like that is very difficult because they're only going to give you what they want to give you, and that's just when they want to exchange with you. So, but other than that, I thought Vergil did pretty good. But yeah, that's.
What punch do you think was missing from Vergil Ortiz to stop McKinson from moving so much?
I think I don't even think it was the punch. I just think it was more of the consistent, patient pressure, as in, you know, because the guy was so awkward whenever Vergil would step in. He was leaning. He was ducking his head below almost the knees. And you kind of got to be careful if you hit somebody like that, because when you do, you can hit him in the back of the head. You won't get in trouble for it because the guy's going under. But at the same time, if you hit him, you know, it'll cause too much of a promotion of how do you say it? A problem with the ref stopping it, giving the guy time to recover, therefore he gets aired and all that. So you kind of got to pick your punches with somebody that's going that low. That, and you can overcommit, he can come up with his head and cut you in the face. You know, I've seen that. So
I think I see what you're saying, but the punch that was landing with Kavaliauskas was a jab to the body. I think he dropped him towards the end. I think that was a punch that I wanted to see a little bit more. Whenever you have a slippery fighter that doesn't really commit or throw punches, you just pop in at the chest. And we know that Vergil has that power jab, and from there on, the body shots, of course.
Yeah, I mean, he could have threw the jab a lot more, but at the same time, if he would have been, you know, he weren't going to land the jab on top because he was leaning so much. I mean, he could have gone for his hip, the core maybe, but the guy was leaning so much and going down so under that I think it was kind of throwing Vergil off a little bit, considering, plus he's been off for so long, right. You know, so.
Yeah, in addition to being off for a year, I mean, he clearly was impacted by some of the criticism he heard over the last year. People criticizing him for withdrawing from the Michael McKinson fight last March. As his father, as his trainer, how did you see that impacted?
Well, first of all, Vergil didn't withdraw. It was the doctors that didn't let him fight. You know, it impacts him because Vergil's one of these kids that he's such a good kid and he's so honest. He'll tell you the truth, you know. And when somebody's saying things about him that he's 15 pounds overweight and he doesn't train hard, Vergil is the hardest worker there is. He is. I mean, there's videos of him a week before the fight, and he's shredded, just like you guys saw him. Vergil is, you'll never see Vergil overweight. He's completely always shredded. So I think that kind of bothers him because I've always taught him that he needs to be respectful, even if somebody says that, just kind of, but when one person say, and it's somebody that has a big social media and uses their platform to kind of, it's almost like belittling you, bullying you, you know, everybody that don't understand boxing or don't even know, it just kind of amplifies. And believe it or not, that's what some of these boxers suffer, you know, with consistent criticism. Remember, boxing is a lonely sport. You're by yourself already in the ring most of the time in the gym. So you already aren't around people because people, you know, the fans and this and that. But whenever now everybody's against you and you're completely doing nothing wrong, it does impact you. It really does.
Yeah, he seemed to be a little bit off early on. He even said in the ring, I wasn't listening to my corner in the first few rounds. Could you tell when he stepped out there and was doing different things?
Well, he was just trying to get him too much with the right hand. He was just trying to power punch him because he knew he was going to be there, but he was just trying to get him from the outside instead of taking that extra step and committing to him. But other than that, you know, Vergil always comes around. That's what one thing he always does. He always does come around.
First fight with Manny Robles as part of the team. How did you feel that went?
It went pretty well. You know, it's the same thing like even at Robertson. We still have the same routine. You know, it's not about replacing or changing things. It's just more about adding things. Sometimes, you know, you can be in a good spot and you just need to change. You know, some people change jobs just because they just need, it's just, that's how they are. So it was just time for us to make a change. And where we were at, you know, in Southgate in LA, closer to the beach, you know, we were staying in Venice. It's a totally different, it's a different feeling. You know, it kind of gets you, it amps you up, and different people, different sparring. So it's just nothing wrong with a change of scene.
So you're already #1 in the WBO rankings. This fight was a WBA title eliminator as well. If Golden Boy came to you tomorrow and said, we can make a fight against Terence Crawford before the end of the year, would you be on board for that?
I'd be on board for that, but at the end of the day, you know, it's my job is just to train my son. We don't pick a fight. We don't.
Well, I guess the question is more like, do you feel he's ready as the trainer? Do you feel he's ready for that challenge?
Vergil is gonna come on when it's time. He'll be ready when it's time.
Vergil, the only thing that I guess slight constructive criticism I'm gonna add right here is in the corner you're gonna see after when you see the fight there was like 3 voices. You were talking to your son. Hector Beltran was talking to your son, and of course the trainer was talking to his son. So, you know, I think that might have confused young Vergil with so many voices coming at him, but you could see that afterwards. But, you know, he got the job done.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was probably more on a couple of rounds where it was too close, but usually we'll have a gap in the corners. You know, we've always had 3 in the corners. But usually, I have to play the bad guy usually. So if he's not doing something, I'm gonna tell him.
So Manny Robles is a good guy. You're the bad guy.
Well, pretty much. And you know, well, Manny and Hector are both, you know, they're good guys with it. But I'm the one that you have to. And usually, you know, your kids will respond to you. And if you tell your kids they have to do this and that, regardless if it's right or wrong, they're gonna do it. So that's pretty much where I know what he has to do. I'm gonna tell him.
Sergio, do you feel Vergil Ortiz Jr. is ready for Terence Crawford?
Man, listen, if he believes he's ready, he's ready. But if I were his manager, Vergil Ortiz is becoming a star attraction here no matter who he fights. What's the rush?
I guess, well, what's the rush? But I want to see that fight. I know you want to see that fight. Everybody wants to see that fight.
I want to see any fight with Vergil.
I
mean, that's just honest. Not, I mean, Terence Crawford, we actually talk. You know, he's a real good guy.
Yeah.
He compliments me about my son. And again, I understand this is the business. So whenever, you know, stuff, it said, hey, would you fight this guy? Yeah, Vergil will fight anybody. But at the end of the day, it's just business, and that's how we leave it.
Yeah, no question. But great win. Great to see Vergil back in the ring. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And the entire team. For Sergio Mora, I'm Chris Mannix. We will see you back on DAZN from the UK, August 27th. KSI makes his boxing return.